It's easy to look at a butterfly and marvel at its beauty, right? We see it fluttering through the air, graceful, colorful, free. But how many of us really think about the journey it had to go through to get there? That caterpillar, crawling along, eating, growing, it's all part of a process. The kind of process that honestly most of us would avoid if we could. The cocoon, the waiting, the isolation, the transformation. And if we're being honest, don't we all kind of feel like that at times? Like we're stuck, trapped in a cocoon we didn't sign up for. Maybe it's a job we hate, or a relationship that's falling apart. Maybe it's that deep sense of loneliness that creeps in when we look at our reflection in the mirror. But here's the thing, the cocoon is necessary. Without it, we can't transform. And that's something Carl Jung knew well. Jung said that to really grow, you have to go through a process called individuation. It's this journey of becoming your true self, but it's not pretty. It's painful. It's messy. It's like a cocoon where the caterpillar is broken down, completely dissolved, and then rebuilt. Think about that. Being broken down to be rebuilt. It's the kind of thing we avoid, right? We run from discomfort. We'd rather stay where it's safe, even if it means staying small. But if you're honest with yourself, how often has that worked for you? Staying in the comfort zone, avoiding growth? It doesn't work, does it? Jung believed that you can't escape the dark parts of yourself. You can't just throw them away or pretend they don't exist. The shadow, those parts of us that we're ashamed of or don't want to face, has to be confronted. It's in the shadow that we find the pieces of ourselves we've been hiding. And like the caterpillar, we have to break down before we can rebuild. The thing is, the caterpillar doesn't fight the cocoon. It doesn't scream, I don't deserve this, I don't want to be trapped. It surrenders to the process. It understands that, as painful as it may be, this is the only way to become what it's meant to be. And we too have to learn to surrender to the unknown, to the discomfort, to the process of becoming. Pause for a moment. Think about that. When was the last time you truly surrendered, gave up control, and just allowed life to unfold, even if it felt like you were in a dark, tight place? When you feel stuck, there's always a choice. Resist the change or embrace it. But embracing it doesn't mean it's easy. It means you're willing to sit in that darkness and trust that something beautiful is being formed beneath the surface. It's the journey from resistance to acceptance, from fear to trust. And it's exactly what Jung meant by individuation, embracing the journey of becoming, even when you don't know where it's leading. Because sometimes you have to let go of who you were to become who you are meant to be, like that caterpillar. Now, let's pause here and think about the struggle. That's a part of the journey too, right? You ever feel like you're falling apart, but not in a loud, dramatic way, more like quietly, silently, like something inside you is dissolving, but the world keeps spinning and no one really sees it? Yeah, that's the part of the journey we don't talk about enough. The part where you're not who you used to be, but you're also not who you're going to become. You're just in between, in that awkward, painful, silent middle. And you know what? That's exactly where the magic happens. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar literally digests itself. It turns into this liquid, this unrecognizable goo. All the pieces that used to crawl and chew and move, they break down completely. And in that formless mess, a new blueprint begins to unfold. Not from the outside, but from deep within. And Carl Jung, he called this the death of the ego. Not like your pride or your confidence, but the part of you that clings to identity, that says, I am this, I do that, I believe this. And when life strips that away, when your titles, your roles, your plans start to crumble, you feel like you're losing yourself. But maybe you're actually finding something deeper, something that was always buried under the noise. Jung said, in each of us, there is another whom we do not know. And to meet that deeper self, we have to let the outer self collapse. The one that was built for the world. The one that was always trying to please, to perform, to survive. It's like the parts of you that were built to fit in are the first to melt away. And it's terrifying, yeah. Because nobody teaches us how to grieve the person we used to be. Nobody prepares us for the emptiness of letting go. But without that loss, there's no space for the new self to grow. And this part, it's quiet. It's invisible. People around you won't understand it. They might say things like, "You've changed," or "You're not yourself lately." And they're right. You're not. You're becoming. And it's sacred. Honestly, we live in a world that wants results fast. Transform now, heal overnight, glow up by next week. But real transformation, the kind that touches the soul, it takes time. Silence, solitude, a kind of patience that almost feels like madness. But listen, it's okay to disappear for a while, to not post, to not answer texts, to not explain your pain. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is just be. Be in your cocoon. Be in the goo. Be in the not knowing. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's actually the bravest thing you'll ever do. To let the old self die, even when there's no guarantee of what comes next. And I just want to say, if you're in that place right now, I see you. You're not alone. This is part of the process. The mess, the uncertainty, the silence, it's all necessary. So don't rush it. Don't try to make it pretty. Let it be what it is, because deep down, something beautiful is forming in the darkness. And when the time is right, when the wings are ready, you'll emerge. Different, lighter, truer. But hey, before we dive into that final part, the moment the butterfly actually breaks free, if this is speaking to you in any way, if it's landing in your heart right now, maybe just pause for a second and hit that like button. Yeah? And if you're on this kind of journey, if you've been in the cocoon, if you've felt the gooey in between, I'd really love to hear from you. Just drop a comment, say something, anything. Let it out. And of course, if you want to hear more of this kind of deep, soulful stuff, go ahead and subscribe. It helps more than you think. And who knows, maybe the next video will land even deeper. Alright, let's take a breath and move into the final stage. The part where the butterfly doesn't just fly, it fights to break through. So here we are at the edge of transformation. The butterfly, after all that waiting, dissolving, dying, now has to do the hardest thing of all. It has to break out of the cocoon. And not gently, not peacefully. It has to struggle. It has to push. It has to literally squeeze itself through a tiny opening. Imagine being born and reborn at the same time with no one to help, no map, just instinct. And that's what real freedom looks like. Not floating, but fighting. Carl Jung believed that freedom, true inner liberation, doesn't come by avoiding struggle. It comes through it, by facing it. He said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. That's wild, right? We think awakening should feel like peace and light and butterflies. Well, it is butterflies, but only after the battle. And here's the thing most people don't know. If you try to help a butterfly out of its cocoon, if you cut it open so it doesn't have to struggle, it won't survive. Its wings won't be strong enough. The struggle is what gives it strength. The pushing is what pumps fluid into the wings. The resistance is part of the plan. So yeah, maybe the pressure you feel right now isn't a punishment. Maybe it's power, building up in your soul, preparing you for flight. And yeah, it sucks. It's tiring. You want to give up. You want to scream, why is this so hard? But maybe, just maybe, you're being made strong enough to carry your own wings. Think about that for a second. The same way the butterfly has no idea what it's becoming, you don't either. And that's okay. That's part of the mystery. You don't need to know the end of the story to trust the author. But you do have to be willing to struggle, to let go of what's familiar, to let old versions of you die, even the ones that once saved you. You have to push, even when you're tired, even when no one sees it, because that's how you earn your wings. You see, transformation doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. in your silence, in your surrender, in your willingness to sit in the cocoon, fall apart, and still rise. It's not glamorous, it's not Instagram worthy, but it's real. And when you finally break through, when you step into that new skin, that new soul, people will only see the butterfly. They won't see the breakdown, the goo, the dark nights, the silent mornings. But you'll know. You'll know what it cost you to become. And honestly, that's the beauty of it. The world will call it strength, but you'll know it was surrender. So, wherever you are in this journey, whether you're crawling, dissolving, breaking, or flying, just know you're not alone. We're all in this weird, beautiful, painful process of becoming. And you don't have to rush it. Just trust it. Breathe through it. Let it shape you. Let the cocoon be your teacher. Let the darkness do its work. Because in time, you'll stretch those wings. You'll feel the air beneath you. And one day, when you look back, you won't recognize the version of you that was scared to become. You'll just be flying. And hey, if this whole message hit you deep, like stirred something in your chest or made you breathe a little slower, don't just keep it inside. Like the video, yeah? It helps more than you think. Leave a comment too. Tell me where you are in the journey. I read every one of them. And if you're not already part of the Selfyra family, now's a good time to subscribe. Seriously, these messages, they're not just content, they're medicine. And if you're on the path of becoming, you're going to want to hear the next one. Alright? Go gently, trust the cocoon, and fly when it's time.